part of that because when we want to...
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
At Standard Courier Services, we deliver with speed. We deliver with care and reliability every single time. Skip the stress, we'll handle the rest. Standard Courier Services, the smarter way to send, receive, reverse, and to connect.
Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
We continue with our conversations. It's now 13 minutes after 8 o'clock, and we'll talk in a short while with the Deputy Party Leader of the Jubilee Party, is Jeremiah Kioni. But before we start getting into that conversation, Karibu Sana, we continue with our live streams. They're up on YouTube, Facebook, and on X, and our audience on KTN still with us around the country, where it is that you're tuning in to Spice FM. Thank you for being here. We continue spreading this around the country. 102.5 in Kisumu, 87.9 in Mombasa, 90.9 in Nyeri, 94.4 in Nairobi, 96.0 in Nakuru, and 96.7 in Eldoret, with 97.6 in Malindi. Thank you for being here with us this morning. And even as we do, certain things, people... do you feel, Dennis, before Jeremiah Kioni joins us in a short while, is it right now it looks as people that you might be looking to is a moving target at this point?
Yep.
And because we often give a lot of the attention towards the presidency and who might be his or her running mate, that we don't think about other positions of leadership, which in my mind are fundamental to making sure you secure the change that a country needs and is looking for. That whereas the buck stops with the person who sits at the helm, that there's a lot of work that needs to be done by the runners under here. But that the question about who will be selected by the people who are running themselves, is it necessary for people to declare their hand, or let's just keep it like a game of poker where at the last minute is where you play your trump card?
I mean, how I look at it, let everybody declare their hand. Let everybody declare what it is they want to become or their aspirations, you know. But that process as well must be given an opportunity to develop to that which the people want. That there shall not be an upper hand that makes the decision for everybody else. So say you are in a group where 10 of you guys want to become president, sour. Come sell your agenda. Out of the 10 people, let's allow the process, the rightful process within that movement, that political party, to be determined by those that belong in that movement. The people, Kenyans, who support that movement to decide that this is the person who will carry our aspirations as Wananchi. Because remember, even as we talk about these political parties, there is the aspect of Mwananchi, of the members of the party who hold the absolute power on who becomes the forerunner in that party. Yeah. So we've never really strengthened, especially the voice of Mwananchi, of party members, the delegates in these political parties. More often than not, it's usually farasi ni wako kumi. Out of farasi kumi, there will be factions in there, and then they make the decision for the people. But until that time when, as a people in these political parties, reclaim our power and make the decisions moving forward, perhaps we will see the change that we really need.
I mean, it just seems that there is, I don't know, I just find it, usually, if people are feeling confused that by what you're putting out, the likelihood is that you, as a person who's putting out, or the group that's putting it out, also is facing a certain amount of confusion. And that it starts to show that if you look at who is backing who, is Rigathi Gachagua doing his own thing? Is Edwin Sifuna going to put himself up for a presidency? Is Kalonzo Musyoka going to be the one that balances everybody out? Justin Muturi just the other day comes out and says that, you know, Kalonzo is the guy that they're choosing. Martha Karua has said very clearly that she wants to be president. Eugene Wamalwa has said that, yes, you know, I am the guy. I'm going to put on record that I'm the guy who can actually deliver the thing. Everybody, they're saying they're part of the group, but everybody wants to be president. Now, I'm wondering, do they do this intentionally? For there to be a moving target so that you can't target? For there to be a moving target and then you declare your hand at the very last moment when your opponent can do very little about it? Does it make sense? Is it a political strategy that is being adopted here to not make it so that anybody focuses on one particular person, but that they know very well who they'll put their support behind, does it help?
I think there is the other school of thought that make your decisions early enough so that you're able to build on that moving forward, so that the people that support you are not confused, so that if there is any panel beating that needs to be done, it is done as you move. Because as we speak right now, assuming the united opposition, everyone wants to become president, right? President William Ruto is a guarantee that he's going for a second term. And he is planning in mind that anyone within the united opposition is going to run. So he has his strategies against each and every single individual. So pretty much what you're doing is delaying the strategy or the tactic, in my view, that he will apply or employ on anyone who decides to run. So what is catch-22? Perhaps agree early enough, start selling that candidate so that the country knows this is the person that is going head on against William Ruto, and you build off that, I reckon. So there are two ways: delay until the last minute, or release early and build off that. So that in the moment you also know those who will fall out because they have not ended up as the flag bearer. Also, separate the chaff from the grain, you know.
I listened to a train of thought yesterday that intimated that right now you don't need to worry about who the person is, but that everybody has a similar agenda at this point in terms of the opposition, whether they're united or not. And that agenda is that it's going to vote the current president out. That it will remove the current president. We deal with those other things later. Whether you're going to demand of them to say that this is their agenda and this is what they're going to do to save the country. And somebody said that's not their agenda. Their agenda right now, for which there is uniformity and which there is a similar idea for everybody, is that what you are trying to do is get the president out of office, that he doesn't come back for a second term. And that is the common goal across all of them. And that all these other things that you're demanding of them, tell us who the person is who's going to run, tell us what you're going to do about the positioning in the country, tell us all of this. They're saying that's not the problem. Right now what we're trying to do is get, the kid who's breaking all the glass out of the room.
That the school of thought then is, what happens if the person who ends up at the ballot is a person who has questionable character? At what point then do we have time to deal with that and say to you, he is not fit?
So is it so? What you're saying is not
early.
enough. It's not enough to just say that you want him to go. What you have to do is then be sure about the person that you put in there to take over the reins is actually worth their salt. Okay. Well, the deputy party leader of the Jubilee Party is Jeremiah Kioni. He's here with us this morning. Good morning.
Morning, my apologies. Traffic police officer should say Paul for draining us on the roads.
What have they done?
The roads, there is a junction. You cannot come to town from Thika side if you have an early morning engagement. You do 20 kilometers of jam. That's all the way beyond Kenyatta University. And I think all that is because of a junction that is up Forest Road, Pangani, Moranga Road. That junction, I don't know how much it costed to do the other one at Gong Road. But it doesn't matter. It should be done.
Should be done.
Should be done. And expressway also done quickly. before the highway, before the housing.
Well, you're most gracious to apologize, but we are still.
But I am sorry for coming in late.
Thank you for doing that, and thank you for being here this morning. And that you have already put out a development agenda here.
Yes.
And that your apology has come as a result of certain things having not been done. And so we're asking, it's good because you've walked into this the conversation when we were just saying, okay, well, what then needs to happen in terms of united opposition? But quickly, before we do that, Dennis wants to tell us about a lizard.
Yes.
A lizard?
Yeah. There's this lizard that comes from Liberia, and it says that, this is what the lizard said, the lizard that jumps from a high tree praises itself if no one does.
If it jumps from a high tree,
it will praise itself if no one else praises it.
What a difficult one. But it's always important to don't look for approval from people. Do what you want to do and what you think needs to be done. If you sit around and wait for approval, you become guilty of approval addiction. Yeah, so place yourself when you can. There might be people might not be there to tell you you've done well.
Well said, well interpreted.
Kama sasa nilipigania Jubilee, hakuna mtu ananiambia nilifanya kazi ya maana.
Unajipigia makofi.
It's interesting. You did your job.
Wengi ni wale wanajaribu kukubomoa.
But then you've also been rather firm. In the last time we spoke, and we also raised this issue then, where you said that you need to essentially, as the party and the united opposition, get your act together. Otherwise, you'd be dealing with a loss. You were very clear about that. What did you mean, Jeremiah?
That united opposition was a good unit to mobilize.
You say was, as though it's in the past.
And it is, yes, it's almost in the past. Because it's not a question of mobilizing now for rallies. It is now organizing to take over power. And I've maintained, and I want to say it again, that a political party is the only unit allowed in our statutes, and even by our constitution, to organize to take over power.
Okay.
A coalition brings people together, but you'll organize yourself within a party. I said then and I want to say now, there is no structure that united opposition has to deliver a presidency. But parties do have structures. If you go to Mombasa and ask who is the official for united opposition here who is helping organize the presidential campaign, there, zero. But if you go and ask for a Jubilee party official who is organizing party affairs within Mombasa, you'll get they are there. So we cannot rely on the united opposition to organize for a presidential campaign. It will have to be done by a political party. And I want to say it again. It is I was clear. It was very clear to me from the beginning that we needed to organize our party Jubilee to ensure that we have a good presidential candidate. Yeah. Then you can go to the table and talk with others and to others on the issues. And I have said before, I'm yet to see anybody who can beat Matiang'i on this ticket. I like what I saw Justin Muturi do yesterday. He named his preferred presidential candidate, and that as it should be. And you can tell that from what he said and what Gachagua had said a day before, there is no meeting of mind. Gachagua had said, don't name a candidate until it was the tail end. He will be attacked by the system of the day. Muturi went ahead and named one immediately when he had a mic next to him. And he did a good thing. When I did mention last week that my preferred presidential candidate is Matiang'i, I was inviting people to do that likewise. Because a party without a presidential candidate, wacha tuseme sana ukweli hapa. A party without a presidential candidate, organizing becomes a very difficult thing. Yeah. And you know, almost all the other parties at the table have presidential candidates other than DCP. Kwa sababu tusipoanza kuambia Wakenya ukweli, tutaanza kuwasubua. DCP will have difficulties fielding a presidential candidate, given that they still have issues to sort within the court corridors. And time is also not on their side if they are going to do that. So there is the fear that if we now continue naming candidates, perhaps those in DCP may run away from the party and go to parties that have strong presidential candidates. But that aside, I think it's important to Abia Kenya. You saw what happened yesterday when Muturi mentioned Karonzo. The church was, there are those who supported and there are those who did not support. Yeah. So what I've been saying is true. Kenyans have their presidential candidate kwa kichwa. Hapa ni PE wanatupigisha hapa. Ati tupatieni mtu moja, tupatieni mtu. The day you don't name the person they want as a presidential candidate, ndio utajua wa Kenya ni akina nani. And they already have their preferred one. And the way out for us as united opposition, it's go out and sell your own presidential candidate. Let Kenyans finally decide who their presidential candidate is. Because they want a person who majority can rally behind and remove William Ruto. And removing William Ruto is not a crime. It's part of our system. It's a part of our constitutional process. So 5 years.
You're saying,
Every 5
Jeremiah,
years.
there's no need for this united opposition business?
No, for where we are going, they can continue talking about united opposition and to meet once in a while in a church or any other function they rally. But where we are today is any party that does not go out and campaign for their own presidential candidate are wasting their time. And this is actually why some of us went different ways, even within Jubilee Party. Because within Jubilee Party, there are those who are slowing me down. Don't move. And the fact that we did not move when we needed to move certainly costed us time and advantages that we had. If we didn't slow down, Matiang'i will be head and shoulder above all these other candidates. But I believe that we are going to do that in the coming couple of months.
Jeremiah,
weeks.
they say politics is local. And by local means, it's Wananchi who will tell you how the situation is.
I agree.
Where we sit today then, because you've given an example of what happened in church, where there are those who supported it, those who said no. That means Wananchi know exactly who it is they want. Is that feeling a reality within the united opposition, that they know what the ground is saying? Even with all the delay tactics, it is clear on who Wananchi want, and they're just waiting for that to be said?
I hope there is none of them in that leadership who is not that clear. There has been a desire to delay things so that we have no time. You know, if we start talking like it happened to us 2022, we didn't have a candidate in Azimio until in the month of April. And that costed us time. We spent the whole of January, actually December, because we were trying to have an NDC as Jubilee. But October, November, December, January, February, March, April, 7 months. President Uhuru was still calling people, come together, agree on who can be the flag bearer. 7 months. We don't have that track at this time. We must let Kenyans start seeing these people and make up their minds. Those who have not made up their minds, they need to make up their minds now. And if we don't do that, we had 8 million people who did not vote trust election. It will be more than 10 million this time around. We'll have serious apathy. And I can tell you, when you say it is local, that is why now, if you want to get me, utanipata pari inaitwa Daragwa Command Center. And you don't have a KTN reporter in Daragwa. Tumeni moja. That's where news will be coming from going forward. We have a command center there, Jubilee Command, where we are now Kenyans there. Wale ambao wana support Matiang'i, wanakuja hapo from the whole of that region. We go there, say our presidential candidate is Matiang'i, and we go out as his agents. Bila kulipwa na tunajituma, kwa sababu we believe that the 2.6 million Kenyans who stand up to vote for Raila never gravitated elsewhere. They are still stuck there. And there is another whole chunk that was in government, UDA government, that has come out and are also looking for a person who can remove William and his system and put in another one. And they all are, I was yesterday in a place called Gakoigo. Najua hujasikia dunia jina kama lakini Gakoigo is in Kagema constituency. I was in a church there, Morogoro, where we were doing campaign for one of the MCAs, and I believe that MCA will win on a Jubilee ticket. And even other DC people came. And they were saying, sitaki tufai nyekuru tutanyongwa, lakini hapa ndio tuko. Because it's very difficult for people to continue being in a situation of uncertainty. And when we were there, I wish there was time to see what some of the young people, and were saying PP 10, something like that, PP 10, grade 10, you know, I think is what you're saying. They were the ones who were doing a skit on Matiang'i. And they did a whole, including presenting, you know, they came in as radio presenters, TV presenters, and they were all about what Matiang'i can do, and they were doing it on the floor. Nothing has before. And you could tell that the new Matiang'i is everywhere across the country. And like I said, my work between now and the time that comes is to campaign for him. Na sasa hakuna, you know, before nilikuwa nikikampenia yeye, wengine wananiita more. And it was wananiita red wheelbarrow. It was nothing else to just trying to slow me down, because there was that fear of having a strong person. We need a person who can change this country day one, not after 100 days, day one. I mean, we can't continue having people being shot left and center. The guy was killed here in Mathare. Look at what happened in Kisii. And it is a question of order and firmness. You know, hapo Belen watu walikuwa wanasema Matiang'i ni firm, ni mugumu, ni nini. That's the kind of person we want in the country. A no-nonsense person. We are playing games. Why would we, like now I'm talking about the road, I have apologized for coming in late. But when I got to that roundabout, hapo junction, Pagani, that Pagani, some 2 police officers are there starting. Casually, anafanya mkono namna hii tu. Na wanapiga story hapa. That time, the jam is 30 kilometers long. Na anafanya kama mkono moja hapa, wakikula story hapa na mama. A policewoman and a policeman. I mean, you look at them and say, we really need order in this country.
And so what you're saying is
how
that
much money are we
that,
consuming with petrol? Hapa. So we actually need a manager, a person who can call order to this country.
What you're saying,
how would you
Jeremiah,
allow goons to run us? And I want to say this.
Jeremiah.
Any party, whether in the opposition or in government, that has entertained goons should not be anywhere near power.
So what
because
you're saying,
both within the opposition and within government, goonism is there.
It is, and it's very clear. It's
And it's a very dangerous
and
thing.
it's not just in political rallies. Yeah. It's people having, again, that we've mentioned this is with the 3rd hour that we've done this morning. It is in having a cup of tea. It is in going about your business on a Friday morning on a busy highway. And this is happening in full glare of, everybody and everything.
Along the road, there was a
What
vehicle
you're saying,
stored. A Mercedes, small Mercedes, nice Mercedes. And I was telling my driver, I sympathize with that owner. Because the guys who allowed that man and a lady saying,
and they had nothing to do. But the question is, you
Very
seem to
dangerous.
be saying, Bwana Kioni, that the person who is going to fix all of this is Dr. Fred Matiang'i, number one, and that number two, you don't want to be busying yourself as Jubilee Party in deciding whether it's Dennis Aseto today, Kalonzo Musyoka tomorrow, whether Justin Undu-Oko tomorrow. You don't want to busy yourself in all of that.
I am not sitting
What
that
you're
boardroom.
saying is that let's go with Matiang'i as Jubilee and let's move.
I am not sitting in that boardroom. Let Kenyans decide. Let's go and present Matiang'i. Muturi will present Kalonzo. Rigiji is presenting. He's only not telling the truth. He's been presenting Kalonzo all through. He was in Daragwa in my own constituency with that whole team of United Opposition. And when I knew this, we are playing games with Kenyans, is when I am there, a leader in the opposition. Nilifaa sufuria Rigiji akiwa ndani ya serikali. We are the ones who have removed them from Ruto. They have come and joined us. And they joined us and they have no respect for those of us who are doing this. We were in the trenches. My good friend Kalonzo is also in this team. He cannot remember a person who was in maandamano na yeye aseme huyu tumekuwa na yeye wacha aongee. When I saw that, I knew these guys, people are playing games with Kenyans. That is actually when I concluded this thing. If we do not organize ourselves as a party, eventually Kenyans will be shocked by the fact that there isn't quite some order within that unit.
So is there,
and I'm saying this
within the United Opposition?
I am not, I don't sit in the boardroom. Okay. And I will invite you to invite them, look for who heads their secretariat, where is the secretariat, where are the members of staff, and those kind of things. Then you can start seeing why it is important for every political party that has a presidential card to go out there. And then when the time is necessary, with the Kenyans themselves watasema, like in that church yesterday, because, the church was turned into a theater where, I don't know where, I think we also do it in this country where we say, when we have people competing on a stage, mambo ya kucheza dance. Nani amecheza dance vizuri? As many as of who like this wanapiga duru, wengine wanapiga duru, wengine wanapiga duru. Na wale mwenye atapata duru mingi ndio popular.
Yes.
Yesterday,
you do it in Parliament as well.
Now, yes, even in thank you so much. It is the how of that opinion. That's where we are. And yesterday it happened in that place. It was, I'm sure Muturi left knowing that perhaps his candidate was not as popular as Matiang'i was in that church. This is the thing that must be done across so that we can get out of this. Lakini tusikae chini kuambia Wakenya watu watakaa kwa boardroom, watoe mtu moja. And again, it's also not, it's not useful to think that UDA can remove UDA. And I say no more.
What do you mean?
What I'm saying is that now we have that command center in Daragwa, where we will be receiving all people from all walks of life within Jubilee who are supporting Matiang'i, wants to go out and campaign for him, believe that we need another regime and we can remove Ruto.
Yep.
That is the most important thing. We need some people who have faith. Because you see, even within Jubilee, kuna watu ambao wako kule, lakini wanapigia wengine duru, debe, kwingineko.
Yep.
I think it's not a crime, but it's not a decent thing. It doesn't reflect well on you. If you don't believe in the candidate that we have as Jubilee, walk over across the fence and support the other one, na usituachie hata harufu hata guo. Enda tu ukiwa mzima. And I tell you, that is the hell I've gone through. Even wakati usikia watu wakisema, Kioni anatukana Gachagua, it's because my mind was clear. And I did not want gray areas. I was clear as where I thought Jubilee wanted to go. Then I can tell you, even the management of Jubilee has been interfered with by individuals within the united opposition who didn't like my firmness on where I wanted the party to go, and my firmness on Matiang'i. And I'm hoping that Matiang'i is on board in knowing that we were fighting for his good cause. Now,
I mean, there is what has also been stated enough times that retired President Uhuru Kenyatta needs to stay away from politics. It is statements that started way immediately when the Kenya Kwanza Brigade formed the government. Even a member of United Opposition today, Rigathi Gachagua, also said that Uhuru Kenyatta needs to stay away from politics, else all the perks that comes with his office as a retired president will be taken away. It is a statement that continues to be hammered today, and one asks the question, Uhuru Kenyatta, as a member and a significant member of Jubilee, what's his role in deciding who is the flag bearer and even just charting the political future for the country? Does he have a voice?
He has a responsibility of charting the political future of the country by nurturing younger people into the leadership of this country. Something that is so clear in his mind. And when he talks about it, sometimes he gets a backlash, and I do not understand why. When you've been a president in a country, whichever country, and you have the respect that Uhuru has, he has the responsibility of modeling, encouraging young people into power. Until the other day, there was this president from Ghana. What was the name of that? I'm forgetting him, oh God. But I think he came from the army. And he was all over Africa talking, giving lectures on how you can get into leadership. He transformed Ghana. How can I forget his name?
Jerry Rawlings.
Jerry Rawlings, thank you. I sat when I was a young man to listen to him, not once, not twice, all the way from Ghana. He brought by Oslo, NDI, all these institutions that are here in this country. And they would bring him to speak to us as to how to learn, how to become a leader. That's the work of Uhuru has. And he should not be stopped from doing it. It doesn't matter whether you are receiving state parks or not. That's a responsibility. And I believe that is what he would want to do. The quarrels we had in Jubilee delayed him into ushering himself into that kind of space. And when the other time I said that, yes, he has been wanting to hand over, another radio station took it up and wanted to make it look like I'm fighting Uhuru, my party leader. No, it's just that he also wants to ensure that he moves to the space that he really is going to help us as a whole unit. His role anywhere else, I mean, he has not shown any interest in playing politics in the country. But he has also allowed to ensure that the country does not go into pieces. But there are those people who are thinking that he should be sitting to tell the opposition what they should. It's not his business. If I were him, if you want to become the president of this republic, and you also want to become the president of this republic, I want to become and we cannot sit to agree on the direction we take as a country, something is wrong.
Well, we'll take a break.
And it is not the responsibility of somebody outside to come and organize
what it is.
The leaders for tomorrow. It is their own responsibility. They want to be leaders. Leaders who cannot lead wants to be led, something is wrong.
Let's take a break and then we come back and ask if saying that the current president must go is reason enough for people to want to be in the presidency. We'll come back. Jeremiah Kioni is the deputy party leader of the Jubilee Party. He's saying unequivocally this morning that no, this united opposition business is not in the boardroom. Let Kenyans decide, but let parties have leaders and let them state what their agenda is and put to bed this whole united opposition business, because according to Jeremiah, it's not working. All right, let's talk when we come back.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Stronger guy, faster guy, younger guy.
3 of Toulouse. Got a handy enough win here.
Big man in the middle. Fernando Manjala trying to stay relaxed.
From 11th June to 19th July, everything can wait. The FIFA World Cup 2026. Get DSTV access for as little as 1,450 Kenya shillings today.
Bingo, I can't see anything.
I'll get you treated, Gramps. You're going to see again, don't worry about it.
Grandma Nene isn't the only one who needs a pair of eyes. We will have to wait until it's her turn, until she's on the top of that list.
So when will that be, Doc?
Right now, she's number 58.
Kenny! I need those eyes!
Kenny moved out already.
Monchi? You told us before that if we ever needed help, we shouldn't hesitate to ask.
A common sign of sensitivity is a short, sharp pain to hot and cold. A lot of my patients have changed a lot of habits and no longer drink cold beverages. Sensodyne works by creating a protective layer over the sensitive areas of the teeth. Sensodyne toothpaste really works.
With Jeremiah Kioni. And before we went to the break, I mean, that's been established that this united opposition business is not the business. But we're going off and asking that question. People have said they're not busy. Nobody's going to come and tell you, oh, we're going to deal with, well, the few people are saying we're going to deal with the economy. But folks who might be in this united opposition, as it were, are saying that, you know, what we need to do at the moment is remove what they are saying is the cause of all these problems, which is the president. Is that not enough an agenda for people to come together on, no matter who the leader will be?
I think and it is important that we allow Kenyans to move into that space. Mm-hmm. Because what to define that person we want to remove William Ruto and his entire regime are the issues that Kenyans once dealt with.
Yeah.
And I really like the issue of what is the narrative that these presidential candidates have. Certainly, the narrative, one is that they need a person. I have said this. The joy about Kenya is that we now know it has money. Kenya kuna pesa. Mm-hmm. Kenya tuko na pesa. Na tuko na pesa ya kuleta maendeleo kwa Kenya, and to even support them in their social lives. So we are looking for that person who can now be able to manage those resources. And managing of those resources, of course, comes with understanding the issues that Kenyans have. For example, I would be interested to hear somebody talk about the mental health issue in this country, because it's a serious issue that is affecting every family in this country. Juzi tu, karibu na pali tumetebea. There was a lady who had already managed to strangle one of her children.
Yeah.
And she was in the process of strangling the next one before they rescued. And the reason why is that baba anapendelea wale watoto walikuja na wao na apendi wale wamezaa na yeye. That's an issue of the mental issue. And it is across the board. Even this shooting of one another across the street, it's something that we need to address. We have issues of unemployment in every home in this country. We have the issue of rehab. Almost every home has a child or a person who requires to be in a rehab one way or another. These are issues that must be addressed by the next team that comes in. It's also important to know that you need a person who can be all-inclusive. Because when we were not, or when we failed to change the architecture of our executive, it means that we still have one very powerful person who sits in a boardroom almost alone, and others join that boardroom. And when that happens, you need a person who can be able to bring other people on board and consult and talk to everybody else, but also a person who is firm, not kuchikulegalega. And we need to be defined more by those issues as opposed to the sloganeering. One of the things that cuts the difference between me and Gachagua, because as ingine watu wanafikiria ni vita, na hatuna, ni ile siasa tu. He believes in Kalonzo, I believe in Matiang'i. He believes in cousins, I believe in Kenyans. You know, actually the right family to talk about Kuso. Cousins are all over. And I believe that the issue of cousins is not a bad one, but you need to carry your neighbor who is not your cousin along with you. The country needs all of us to move together. He has a lot of emphasis on by-elections. I don't. By-elections to me in a country, I learned it from Kibaki and I saw it also from Uhuru. It's really a waste of resources if you spend more than what IBC wants you to do. All the people of that region are looking for is another leader, but it has no impact on the government of the day, nor does it have an impact on the opposition, and especially when the numbers in parliament are so far apart, or when parliament has already been taken over by the government of the day. So I wouldn't spend a lot of my energy and resources. It's not a litmus test. It was 2007 when we had 102, 103. When the parliament is a hung parliament of that nature, then a win or a loss means a lot. But when you have 20 people, 30 people difference, let it be. Akienda pandili igine haijarishi. When you have a person like William Ruto in State House who is able to take the whole of parliament within, wachaneni na hiyo maneno. Let's concentrate on the issues that can help us change the regime going forward. Not to say that we are not keen on what is happening elsewhere, but we need to address those issues. We need to talk about education. We need to talk about health. We need to hear what are these people saying. Not even what they did, is what are they going to do to improve the health, improve the living standards of Kenyans, improve our security. Our security is not good at all. We are headed in some very bad ways. This goon thing, si mchezo, and these goons are going to grow in numbers for as long as we do not pay attention to employment.
So, Jeremiah,
for as long as we don't pay attention to our armed units. If you talk about the mental health before you ask your question, mental state within the disciplined forces is worse than outside. And that research was done, and it's a part of the government documents that we read on a daily basis.
So, do you remember what I'm hearing you say is that the conversations that you're hearing today is beyond just Ruto must go, is beyond just getting to presidency, that we must start having conversations on our agenda for the country moving forward, that even within political parties as we sit right now, Jubilee should be thinking about, apart from having our presidential candidate up there, we must scout for other leaders who will be voted within Jubilee, who will push this country forward. That if you're having MCAs who will be running for office, we want the best MCAs who will represent various counties at the county level to ensure that counties spur. That if it's members of parliament, that when they get to parliament, they will not be captured. There will be individuals who will oversee policy formulation that will change the country moving forward. If it's senators, women rep, overall conversations about individuals getting to office is what we must be talking about right now moving forward.
And I can't be able to say it in a better way, but that now is the crux of the matter, and that is why every political party must go. I talked about Kakoigo, where I had gone to support an MC who wants to run on a Jubilee ticket. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, when Uhuru told me to be the deputy party leader as not the SG, even the fact that some within the united opposition were very happy because they thought it is a less position where I cannot exercise my thought on people like Matiang'i, who now that I know they believe different, they can see differently. He told me to go to the grassroots and handle the operations within the grassroots. And that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm saying I'm going out. I'm now in Daragwa. Even as I come back here, next time I'll be coming from Daragwa. What is it that we are doing? Identifying readers. And it's not an extortion link, because some of these parties are really extortion links. The kind of money people pay to get a microphone to speak when a leader is there is hilarious. There is no Gen Z who has a chance there. And anybody wasting time there and calling himself a Gen Z or herself a Gen Z and think that you're going to get a chance, where are they going to get the 10 million shillings that are being coughed? They're just from school. They have never been employed. They have never gotten a contract, nothing. But they have something that they can offer to this country. And I can tell you that is a kind of opportunity that we want to give within Jubilee Party. Because I have listened to 20-year-olds. The other day I was invited by Citizen Radio. Was it Radio? Yes, Radio. It wasn't TV. Radio. And I went with 3 of them. One 21-year-old, the other one 28-year-old, the other one 25 years. I said, just sit here. One of them want to be an MP, Westras, the other one MCA. And if you sit and listen to these young people, they have ideas. They understand the problems. And we need to give them an opportunity. We cannot continue, asking for millions of shillings as a party and then pretend that we are going to have a different kind of leadership. When Matiang'i said sometimes ago and said, "Mumechagua wash," and you are going to, it's happened. Today, I want to say it here. We are talking about goons in this country. But we have goons who are elected as members of parliament. So they have their colleagues in parliament. So when they organize, it's very easy for them to just call goons within minutes because we have goons within parliament. Fine, is their constitutional right to be elected. But if we choose as a country to be led by goons, then we are actually going to get an economy of goonism, everything goonism, and we'll eventually end up with an education system that produces goons. I mean, that's why I'm saying, let us take this to the people. Let the people decide who their president is going to be. And the other mistake, in fact, the other difference between me and Ligiji is that he believes in pointing people and saying, huyu ndio tutachagua hapa. Wengine wote hawana maana. And of course, that I don't do. Let people decide who their leader will be. Because I believe that in so doing, one is that you have allowed the constitution to play out among the people. 2, the people will own the process. And they will also give time to that process to bring change, because changes cannot be brought overnight. The damage that we are in cannot be rectified within a day. You need to move along with the leader, but that leader must be the leader you chose, a leader you trust, a person who is not going to steal. I believe that we have now a generation of people who are not just out to come and steal and feel good. We have people who want to come and make a change in people's lives. The oversight that is there with Kenyans will not even allow some of the, unless you are really a goon who doesn't bother. And itaiba upende, ile wale wanasema utadu. So I will be happy if Jubilee plays a part in that process. And I will really be happy if Matiang'i also plays a part in that process of bringing in a new team of people who can bring a change in this country. Of course, even for him to do that, he must have all of us on board. It's really a question of a teamwork, kila pahali. And I feel a little sad, and sometimes I get worked up, because when we were doing some of these things within Jubilee and people did not understand, and we ended up with a necessary hostile takeover, it has slowed us down. We lost a minimum of 6 months. And if we didn't slow down, Jubilee will be way, way above all the manenos that we are seeing.
What would have
now,
happened
let
to
me
put
say
them
this.
way
Let me now
ahead?
say this before I finish. You see, I talked about United Opposition as an organizing, not organizing, a mobilizing unit. That role has been taken over by Leader Mwananchi.
So United Opposition doesn't have a role anymore?
No, they have, but there's more excitement with Leader Mwananchi.
Okay.
For sure, even when you're reporting, there's more excitement. I can actually see why even goons are being unleashed on them. They are now the ones that are exciting the country in terms of mobilizing. But in terms of organizing for how we take over power, political parties still have a role. Because even after being in Leader Mwananchi, you go home to a political party. If there is no political party you are going home to, wewe pia ufikirie haraka kwa sababu siasa ya Kenya haichezwi namna hiyo. Lazima ukibie nyumbani, na nyumbani ni kwa chama. Na hiyo ndio ilikuwa some of the people we are with in the United Opposition were also the people who wanted to kill Jubilee because they were killing that nyumbani pali watu walikuwa nakibia. But I'm happy that I am being vindicated. And what I'm now doing at Daragwa Command Center, which we are calling Jubilee Daragwa Command Center, is now to do what I always wanted to do. Bring up leaders, protect the party, and let the Kenyans decide who their presidential candidate is going to be. Now you will see things coming from Daragwa. We have received delegations, na wanaendelea kuja wengi.
Okay.
Next weekend we have people from Kajiado and Kisii, and Meru is coming. All of them, they're coming.
You obviously believe in your candidate, and obviously from what you've said is that we don't
from
need to.
Day one.
You've said they don't need to be part of this business where everybody's not figuring out where they need to go. So what is the one thing that would set him apart from anybody else in terms?
And I like the fact that Muturi also believes in Kalonzo.
Yeah, you said that
It's
as
not-
well.
yeah,
But
so-
in this case, what's the one thing that, according to you, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, will do differently for Kenya today? Because that still continues to be the cry that you can all do these political shenanigans and do everything that needs to be done within those circles. But at the end of the day, you've got 50+ million people who are saying, you know what, we just need certain things to work right. What
I
would
like
that
him
thing
because
be?
one thing is I like him because he doesn't like the populist politics. Because we are dead on the populism agenda. He doesn't give a cahoot on populist politics. Kama kitu ni mzuri na inatakana ifanyike, itafanyika. Na atafanya. Again, I like him because when he has also, we have seen a person who can say something and he follows it through. There's something that people have played around with talking about him and Mambap. If I call Fred at 4 a.m., anachukua simu. I see him, there are times I'm on my phone at 2 a.m. and I also see him. And we start engaging at 2 a.m. Of course, during the day we become a little tired, but it is, you can actually see a person who is engaged with the things that he wants to do for the country on a 24-hour basis. And I think that is what we need. And it is not a question of hii kitu. I hope it doesn't show up in the government that we form next, where all that we see around you are your cousins and everything else because you campaign. And it's not a good thing either.
One would hope.
You know, you want everybody to be on board as a country. There is a track record that was set by Jubilee Party in terms of what needed to be done in all sectors. He has a very thorough understanding of that. He was part of it. It doesn't mean that he's just going to do what was being done, but he knew where we wanted to go and he should be able to take us even further.
All
It
right.
does not require a lot of introduction into the government system. When you talk about cabinet, he knows what is a cabinet, what are cabinet subcommittees, what is security, what security issues that needs to be handled in the government. When you talk about education, he was part of the CBC thing. You talk about health. It's not a question of coming and abolishing SHA, but it's a question of making it. It's just a name, make the
Making it
systems
better.
work.
All right.
Don't start with another 104 billion shillings. No, we want these things
The
to
one
work.
making systems work
He
with
gave
what
me
is
an
available.
example that impressed me on how they were able to go through votes. I'm trying to make it. They were told by Uhuru, can you go back to your ministries, each one of you, scrutinize the votes, see how much money you can save from any of the votes. We need to pay for examination fees in this country. He went and looked at the vote that was used to buy boots for the police, the army, and everybody else. And from that vote alone,
Got
he was
money to
able
pay
to save
examiners.
money that paid for the examination fees for that 1 year.
It's interesting to note that there's some examiners from
yes.
last year who've not been paid, so you might want to get a word in on that.
And
Jeremiah
from that point,
Kioni
it tells you that there is anajua ile tunataka tufanye.
Deputy Party Leader
wengine hatufukuzi mtu.
Of the Jubilee Party. Jeremiah, thank you for being here with us this morning. It's clear what the message is. Asante Sana. Good morning.
The latest news from around the world. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.